just in case if it's needed for later. And after the welcome page, we're going to next document, which is the syllabus for 1045 lab. The reference number, and you have the my name is Dr. Banush Memari. My email address bmemari@broward.edu, but I would prefer emails via D2L, and I want you to please use that as the primary communication tool. I want you to ask your questions during our meeting, during the live pre-lab discussion meeting. Come to my office hours. I have office hours on Fridays, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. via Blackboard Collaborate, same way that we have the class today. I will send the link to the announcement, and I would be available for the live discussions at that time between 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Course information, this is the 1045, and core requisite for the course is 1045 lab. Prerequisite for the course is MAC 1105 or higher math. It's a 1-credit class with 1 final exam, and there are 13 labs. For 13 labs, you would have 13 pre-lab assignments and 13 data sheet or post-lab or other questions which you need to submit. Okay. The general outcome for this course: what are you expected to learn by taking 1045 lab? In general, when you take a lab that is a core requisite to lecture, you are expected to satisfy or experience some of the reactions or theory that you learn in lecture. You practice that in lab. You actually prove that yes, the product of a reaction A plus B is going to be C plus D, and you are looking for evidence for reactions. When you study reactions, you are looking for evidences that you could measure with using your senses to conclude that there has been a chemical reaction. In a chemical reaction, composition of the compound is changing, so the product is different from the reactant. Since you don't have electronic eye to see the compound at the molecular level, you have to look for some evidences that you can measure by physical means. And those evidences could be change in temperature, change in color. So that means you start with a blue color compound and now you have colorless or yellow color. That means there must be a change, and that change must be a chemical change because the composition of the compound changed, because you could see the color of the product is different from the color of the reactant. If it's a new color, it must be a new compound. And if it's a new compound, there must be a chemical reaction. Change in pH, where you start with the acid with low pH or pH lower than 7. And for product, if the pH changes to neutral, that means there must have been an acid-base reaction. Or if the product has a pH higher than 7, means your product is a base. That means evidence. Again, you have evidence for the reaction. So by conducting this experiment in the lab, and I wish that you were actually in the lab, because then you would practice the safety procedure as well as the lab techniques. The solutions that I had for my students and for other students taking class at the central campus is to come up with these videos that will show you the experiment and helps you to collect data so you can do data analysis. Is as close as it could get to a personal experience while you were in the lab. The other choice would have been to make you guys to buy the lab kit and perform some experiments at home. There were some problems with the lab kits, and some of the chemicals would not get until like mid-semester or sometimes to the end of the semester. And when I contacted them, and they said that, you know, some of the chemicals, they used to come from China and India, and now it's delayed or we're not getting it for a while and it's back order. I couldn't start the experiments with the kit. So I came up with these videos. I don't know how many of you watch those videos, but at least there is a solution for the pandemic. And we are trying to make the most out of the situation that we are in. So the remote learning was the solutions that has helped many students at Central Campus using my courses, my lab courses that I developed starting last year. The other aspect for learning or performing experiments in 1045 lab is to be able to do some bookkeeping. And if you were in the lab, just also learn about housekeeping. When we say about housekeeping, is like keeping your working area clean, avoid contamination, because contamination alters the physical property of the compound. You don't want to get the chemicals mixed up, like used by wrong using of the equipment, like using one dropper for two different containers. These are some of the techniques that I want you to watch the safety video patiently. Please do not fast forward the safety video, because when you take the safety quiz, it has some detailed questions about different time of the different timeline of the safety video, and it would be helpful for you to answer those safety quiz questions, at the same time learn how to behave in the lab environment. The materials needed for the course this semester is the ebook. If you are College Academy students, or you have a scholarship, if you have financial aid, you need to purchase the book using Central Campus Bookstore. Make sure you buy the ebook for the General Chemistry 1 lab manual. And the link for Vital Source is here. If you are paying for your books, use the Vital Source. Is very much faster and direct. You don't have to worry about getting the book in time or any problem. Vital Source is the platform that we keep our ebook in there, and is compatible with the Broward College Bookstore. So you can get from Broward College Bookstore, or you could get it from the Vital Source. If you're College Academy students, again, you don't have choice. You have to get it from the bookstore. After you purchase the book, make sure you submit the confirmation or the order number for the ebook from the Vital Source or bookstore. It doesn't matter. Either one, you would get the confirmation or the purchase order, and you submit to the assignment folder that is called the purchase order. If you purchase the book, you forget to submit it, you're not going to be able to see all of the assignments. There are a couple of the experiments, like specifically experiment 2 and 3, that you will not see the Prelab or the data sheet. And if you don't see it, you won't be able to submit it. And it will cost you points, and you don't want to do that. So if you purchase it, make sure to submit it to be able to see all of the assignments. If you purchase from Vital Source, the instructions on how to get the purchase order is here. It is explained in 2 steps, and there is a phone number to call them. The Broward College Bookstore also, it's because it's in the BC website. You can search for it if you have any questions, to call them in case if you cannot locate your confirmation or purchase order or the email that you got that here is your book. That also works as long as you save that as a PDF file and upload to the assignment folder. Beside the ebook, you need a reliable internet. You need a computer, which is a desktop or laptop with a webcam and a microphone, so you can use it during your exams. Your final exam is going to be proctored by HonorLog, which requires the webcam and a desktop or laptop. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Because I'm using one monitor at this point, I have to go to the other tab to look at the chat area for your questions. And I'm asking you at this point, if you have any questions, you type in the chat for everyone area, or you can use your mic to ask your questions. And if you don't have any questions, just say that you don't have any questions, so I can go back and continue with the... Sure, Matthew, I will show you where to submit the confirmation. And sure, right after the syllabus, right after we cover the syllabus, I will remember to show you where to submit it. Good question. Any other questions you might have? You can use your mic or type your question in the chat area. Either one would work. Yes, if you purchase from the bookstore, the email that you are getting, that would be the confirmation for purchase, and that is a proof of the purchase, and that's what you save as a PDF, print screen or print PDF, and save it, upload to the assignment folder. Yes, a screenshot would work. A screenshot would work as long as it shows that yes, you have received your order or you have ordered. No, physical does not work for this semester. And if you want, we can chat about this later. I don't want to take too much time about that to explain, but this is an agreement that I have with we have with the publisher, because they gave us some of the material in a Word document, and they didn't have to do that for us. But if we didn't have the ebook, really, we could not do the... Where did you purchase the ebook? Is the bookstores that... Where did you purchase the physical book? Is the ebook Central Campus selling the physical book now? Is this like a new purchase, or is from last year or before? Okay, new. Okay, would you be able to return? I will talk to Central Campus Bookstore today to make sure that they would return it, because it's their fault. They should have not sold you the hard copy of the book. I will call them actually, and then I make sure that they take it back. And if you could please send me an email via D2L or bmemory@broward.edu, and I will forward that to the bookstore manager. I will talk to them. I will make sure that they replace that with the with the ebook. Sure. Okay, any other questions or concerns you might have? So if you have purchased the hard copy, please change that with the ebook, because the publisher would not allow me to use their material. When you go through the assignments, which I'm going to show you soon, there is Word document, and I don't have access to the Word document. They provide it with me, to me, and so I can use for the course as long as we use the ebook. So I have to keep my promise with them. Okay, perfect. Any other questions? No? Okay, let's continue with the syllabus. So there are other materials normally used for the lab, like a lab book, lab coats and gloves and others that it's not applicable for remote learning. So for now, just the reliable internet, desktop or laptop, and ebook. Okay. The student success guide, I'm sure that when you went through orientation, you had to complete these assignments, but it's a good place to start with if you are, especially, if you are new to Broward College. The lab manual must be used with the material presented in D12, because what we have in D12 is not enough for you, enough material to be able to complete the course, because we kind of divide and we depend on the ebook when we are using this course shell. The experiment video, and I will show you the location for those videos, the link for the videos. They provide you with the data you need to complete your data sheet. Sometimes I it might be hard for you to record, and if that was the case, I made sure to place the numbers in the chat area, and when you open the video, there is a purple arrow on the bottom right side that you can elapse and open, and you can open and close it by clicking on the double arrow. It would show the chat area, and if there are a lot of numbers, I usually record it there to make sure that students, they are getting the proper number with no doubt. Attendance is mandatory for any science lab, at least for science labs that I know of. So your attendance for the course. For pre-lab discussions, I just want to remind, I do remind all my students, I had two labs yesterday, so it's not just for 1045 students, it's for everyone in my class, that attendance is mandatory. How do I monitor the attendance for my online classes? Starting next lab, I will ask questions every 2-3 minutes on random basis. I call for attendance as well, but there are like 2 steps. It's not just calling for attendance. I will call for attendance. I also ask those questions on a random basis. And I would tell you now, I would tell you then, when I'm calling your name with the question, is not the matter that you know the question or you don't know the answer to the question. It's for me to know that you are actively participating in the pre-lab discussions. So if there's a question that is challenging, and since you have not done the experiments, you may not know the answer, when I call your name, say something, type something in the chat area that it shows me And it proves that you are not just logged in because it was early in the morning, it was 8 o'clock, you logged into computer and then you went back to sleep. So if that is the case, if I call your name and I don't get response, I would mark you absent, regardless if you are signed in or not signed in. So signing in, it does not satisfy it doesn't satisfy the attendance. Active participation, it would satisfy the satisfy attendance. Absences, it will the grade for non-attendance, of course, is 0 because you get grade when you attend the lab. And since you are going to be attending the lab, I would ask you, please, when you hear your name, say something like I'm working on it. I will get the question, I will get the answer soon. If you know the answer, that would be even perfect. That would be even better. You just give me the answer. So before each experiment, you need to read the experiment using the ebook. The schedule is given in the same folder that you find the syllabus. And I will show you one more time how to navigate these folders. The experiments is known, which experiments we are doing. We are starting with experiment 1. We continue, but still we follow the lab schedule. And I have to tell you, on week of, I think it's week of March 30th, we are doing 2 experiments. And week of March 1 to 5, we have no lab because it's a spring break. Other than that, every week we do up to the March 30th, we are doing 1 experiment per week. So for each experiment, you have a pre-lab assignment, which needs to be submitted before the lab, and you have a data sheet, which needs to be submitted after you watch the video portion of the experiment. And complete your data sheet and submit the data sheet. Okay. The class activities, you have 2 graded discussions, and each one would be 5 points each. For each one would be 5 points. The first one is just the introduction, and some of you have already completed, which is great, and more power to you. And the other one, it's like a theory, law, hypothesis, which is during experiment 3, that week of experiment 3, which is first week of February, you will have another discussion. Then the final discussion is the reflection. Reflection is for extra point, extra credit. Assignments, you have 2 types of assignments. One is pre-lab assignments or pre-lab questions, and you have 13 of them because you have 13 experiments. Data sheet, it's again 13 data sheets, and because of the 13 experiments. When you are submitting those assignments, you download a Word document from the assignment folder. When you open the assignment folder, it says download this worksheet, complete, save in your computer, upload again. So I have seen sometimes just accidentally students, they are submitting blank document of the Word document because they didn't save before upload. Please be careful with those points, and when you complete the worksheet, make sure you save it before you upload. Quizzes and tests. The pre-lab assignments, they are not proctored, they are not quizzes, they're just assignments, because for my face-to-face classes, I used to collect the hard copy. So students, they had a week to complete the assignment, and when they came to the lab, the first thing they would do, they would submit that pre-lab assignments, because pre-lab assignment is supposed to be done before the lab begins. So with the same manner, just like mimicking the face-to-face classes, I collect the pre-lab assignments prior to the 8 a.m. the day of the experiment. So for next week, 8 a.m. We have or before 8 a.m. You have a choice or time from now, right after the class today, until 8 a.m. of next Tuesday to submit the pre-lab assignment. The other sheet, again, you have a week time after the pre-lab discussions, after our meeting for next Tuesday. You have a week time to submit your the data sheet. If I would suggest to do it right then during the lab time, during the 3 hours that you have for the lab time, watch the video and complete the data sheet and submit it to get it out of the way. But I still give 1 week time just to copy our trend in the face-to-face, because I wouldn't collect the data sheet that same day. I collected the week after. The honor log is a proctoring system that is used for our final exam. Okay, I'm going to chat area, and then I come back to course schedule to show you in detail what is due for each experiment. Okay, very good question, Matthew. A data sheet is going to be due after the lab, and you do have 1 week time before the following week, before the next experiment. So, for just an example, January 19, we are doing experiment 1. January 26, we are doing experiment 2. So pre-lab for experiment 1 is due on January 19 before 8 a.m. Data sheet for experiment 1 is due before 8 a.m. on January 26, along with pre-lab for experiment 2, except the first day, which is next week, first day of the experiment. After that, you have 1 pre-lab for the experiment you are doing that day, and the data sheet from before. You have the whole week to submit it. So you don't have to wait for that day to come to submit. So you have a week to submit. If that answered your question. Did I answer your question? Good. Any other question? You're welcome. Any other questions you might have before we go back to course schedule? No questions? Okay. Going back to syllabus for today, which we have the introduction to the course, is just to know what is expected from you, what's expected from me, and how and when you are going to submit your assignments. The assignments that you have for today's lab is just reading the welcome letter, course syllabus. You want to watch the video, the safety video, take the safety quiz, and introduction, complete or submit the post into introduction discussion, and student lingo assignment. If you have taken the lingo assignment, student lingo assignments already, that certificate that you have, it's good, or you have like multiple choices when you go to the student lingo link. You can choose a new topic and complete and get the certificate for the new topic, and you would submit. Besides submitting the certificate, is also asking for a feedback, like 1 paragraph feedback that it shows what did you actually learn. It's not just the certificate that you got, what do you remember by completing that assignment. Please submit both portion of the assignment, not just the certificate. Make sure you know how to navigate through D2L. And if you have any questions, you would ask me. All of these activities are due before 8 a.m. next week. For experiment 1, you need to review experiment 1, which is called measurements, in your ebook. You want to complete and submit the pre-lab questions for experiment 1. This is going to be before 8 a.m. Next Tuesday. Next week, you are going to attend the class. We will have pre-lab discussions, which I ask questions. I explain about the experiment, why we are doing experiments, what's the purpose, and I ask questions about the procedure. So please make sure to look at the procedure and read the experiment before you come to class. Then you would complete the data sheet and submit the data sheet before your next 8 a.m. of the day of experiment 2, which is January 26. It follows the same. You also have the purchase order confirmation that you need to submit to the assignment folder. That's for, it's due before January 26th. And if you read these, you see that it's very similar pattern. You need to read the experiment, review the experiment in the ebook, submit the pre-lab, watch the video, and submit the data sheet. So it becomes routine. There, if I have two, like a blue color, like assignment for the purchase order, one in experiment 2, week of experiment 2, one in experiment 3, these are the same assignment. So it's not two separate assignments. It's just the same one assignment. Just one submission is enough. I'm just reminding so you don't miss those assignments. Because if you purchase but you don't submit, you will not see these assignments for experiment 2 and 3. Your final exam is going to be during the week of, let me see, I have it here. The final exam would be on the April 20th during your class time, and it's due before the 11 a.m. that day. You are going to be proctored by Honor Log, but it's a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. The questions that you would see on the final exam, they are similar to questions you have in the pre-lab, and additional questions in the data sheet is based on understanding of the experiments. And I will have a review for you before, a week before you take the final exam. During the review for the final, I hope that you don't expect me to give you the type of question or the questions or sample questions, but at least the format of questions and which experiments will be included in the final, which ones will not be included in the final exam. We have 13 experiments, and every semester, because I don't want to repeat using the same questions, I use different set of the experiments. I usually eliminate like 3 or 4 experiments from the final exam, and I write my questions based on the rest of the experiments. Those information will be given to you at least 1 week, and I will try to do that like maybe 2 weeks before you take the final exam. Grading policy is based on 10% skill, so 90% to 100% is A. And how would you earn these grades is by submitting your assignments on time. Your assignments will be graded based on completion and correctness. It's not just based on completion. So I have to basically read the questions and every question and the answer, and grade your assignments based on correctness. If you submit your assignment late, like if it's due like before 8 a.m., you want, of course, it's going to be based on the 10 points, but submitting the assignment after the due date and the time, it will cost you points and depends on how late you would submit it. The folder for assignment is going to close 11:59 p.m. of that day. So basically you have a whole day to submit your assignment late for late points. What would be the best scenario is to submit it before the 8 a.m., before the due date. And the itemize for your collecting or earning points for the final exam or final grade are listed here. You have your safety quiz for 10 points, student lingo 5 points, and discussion 5 points. Prelabs, you have 13 of them, 10 points each. Data sheet 13, 10 points each. Reflection is a extra credit. Your final exam is 50 points. I'm going to go back to chat room to look for your questions and come back with more policies. No midterm. No midterm, just the final exam. For 1045, it's just the final exam. We have midterm and final for 1046 lab. Sure. Okay, any other questions you might have? No questions? Okay. Faculty response, I ask you to submit your questions or ask your questions if you can during our pre-lab discussions, because the answer to those questions is going to help everyone who is in class. And the second option would be to come during the office hours and ask your questions, because some of you will be there, and those who are attending the final, I'm sorry, not the final, I was reading your question about the final, so I mixed up, sorry. For those who are attending the office hours would benefit. And the third choice is going to be D2L email. And the absolute last choice, which is not my favorite, but if it's an emergency and you want to email me to bmemory@broward.edu, that would be the last choice. But please utilize the D2L email whenever you have to send me a question via email. Why do I encourage you to ask your questions during our pre-lab discussions or during office hours? Because I'm using Blackboard Collaborate. And you have seen, it's just like Zoom, when we are using Blackboard Collaborate, which I'm going to have to migrate to Zoom because Blackboard Collaborate is going away after this semester. I can share my screen. I can, have you make you presenter. You share your screen, or if you have a worksheet or a Word document that you want to show me what you have done, or you have a question, I can help you right then and more efficiently. So it's not just the timing; is also the manner that we are using for answering the question is going to be a lot more helpful because I could have the whiteboard and I can write on the screen to answer your questions. Typing chemical equations using the email is going to be hard for you, and also my response is not going to be fast and easy. That's the reason that I encourage you asking questions. Those are the reasons that I'm asking you to ask your questions during our pre-lab discussions, during the office hours, and the last choice would be email via D2L. or utilizing discussion board, student cafe, or general discussion for the course. If you submit, you post your questions, I'm sure everyone in class who reads, or anyone in class who reads your question, if they know the answer, they will provide you the answer. If nobody provides you with an explanation or an answer, I will try to answer it as soon as I can, and I will monitor the discussion board. Academic accommodation. This is accommodation now is centralized, so it's not just it's not campus based. Every campus is going to, students in every campus is going to use the same number and email address in order to get help if there is any need for accommodation. Academic honesty. The papers that you're submitting, their Word document that you're submitting, and I will check them against Turnitin. Make sure that is not one person answering questions. Do not share your document with other students. It's the nature of the students, especially college academy students. They are very close and they like to help each other, but helping your friends is not supposed to hurt your academic background, and you don't want to share documents with your friends or students in your class. So please make sure that it's just one assignments. These are individual assignments. These are not group work, and you would answer those questions yourself. Discussion is great. You can do group studying. You could do anything that you can do to help your friends, except with sharing documents or copy and paste. You cannot copy and paste answer or share document, because if that is the case, Turnitin is going to pick up, and when it does pick up the similarity, it would count for dishonesty. So you want to make sure not to share documents. Changes to syllabus. We try to stay with the schedule. If for any reason, if the schedule changes, it will be noted in the syllabus, and when the syllabus changes, you will be notified that syllabus has changed. You can follow the new syllabus or up-to-date syllabus after you receive an announcement, in case if there is a change. If there's no change, that's what we have for the syllabus, and that's what we are going to use. Okay, as I promised, I'm going to go show you some of the folders again. Like today we have welcome letter, syllabus, the lab schedule for the semester, safety quiz, practice assignment for the student lingo. These symbols that you have, I'm sure you figure out already by just clicking on them to see if they are quiz or what type of link we have here. You see this document with the tray underneath? That's for assignment. When you have a question mark, that is a quiz or assessment. When there is just a document, that would be either PDF or Word document. And of course, this is a HTML file. It's a document, but is a document that I can actually edit using HTML. So it's basically just like PDF or Word document, but I have access to edit. I don't have to upload new document each time. This folder here, it shows it contains the link for safety video. The safety video is coming from ACS, which is American Chemical Society, to help the students to gain lab technique and safety rules while working in any science lab. Biology labs are using the same are very similar safety video, and chemistry labs, of course. And you need to take your quiz before next week. Okay, you see this gray bar here? It's active. That means that you can scroll down. When you scroll down, you have your experiments, coursework. Here you can find the pre-lab video recording and data sheets for each experiment. For each experiment, I have one folder. So for the first experiment, I have for measurement, you have the pre-lab, you have the link for confirmation. Matthew, if you are watching this now, you have access, right? You all see what I'm talking about, which folder I'm talking about. This is one way to access the folder for confirmation order or order number for the ebook. That's one place that you can access, and I show you other places that you could access to the assignment. But if you look at the folder for each experiment or each week, it has everything in one place. That's actually hard for me because I have to make sure that everything is included in each folder for each experiment, but everything is in one place, and you don't have to look through the blue bar to get the each of these assessment or assignments separately from the course content. So you have the link in this folder. So for experiment 1, you have the confirmation or the order number assignment. You have the pre-lab for experiment 1. You have the link for the video, and you have the data sheet. So you want to make sure to submit these into the proper assignment folder. Okay, we go to the exactly, yes, that's what you need. Because if you purchase from a bookstore, they will send you an email with your order, and you could take a screenshot, or sometimes you could just go to the email and say print, and when you print to PDF, print PDF, you should get it. I'm sure you will get it, because they send you the link to access the ebook via email. Is that right? That's the only way, unless you want to go unless you go to the bookstore and they write on a piece of paper. So they have to send you an email that here is your ebook or access to the ebook. That is the email that you can save it as a PDF. Just print PDF. So when you print, you just choose PDF. It's better than it's probably better than the PDF. It's easier to read. A PDF is much better than the screenshot, because a screenshot, it saves as an image, and then with the images that you're submitting, they should be like a JPEG, and some of the format of some of images, it's not readable with every computer, including my computer. So then I have to ask for changing format and all that. PDF, Word document, every Mac and PC can read. Okay. Let me see if there is other. Yeah. So I just opened experiment 4. You have the pre-lab, you have the link for the actual experiment, which is a video. You don't have to watch this video prior to pre-lab discussions. You watch it after the pre-lab discussions, because your lab is for 3 hours, except for today that it took a little longer. It usually our pre-lab discussions is about like 40 to 45 minutes, and during those 40 to 45 minutes you will hear your name at least 2 times on random basis to answer questions, and that counts for attendance. And I would, it's not just, it's not a punishment for you. I hope you don't look at it that way. It's not a punishment for you to attend your class. During the pre-lab discussion, you learn about the purpose of the experiment and the points to remember. How would you get better result for the experiments and for each part of the experiments that is performed. Since I was videotaping these experiments for remote learning for everybody's use, so I did not include a lot of explanation in the video, but I did include every piece of data collections. So it's necessary for us to have the pre-lab discussions to answer any questions that you might have about the experiment and show you how to do the calculations also, if there is any questions. If it's simple math and obvious, then I would leave it up to you to ask me questions. Okay, let me go to course homepage, and you tell me if you have any questions, or did I promise anything that did I promise any questions to be answered and I have not answered yet? This toolbar that you have here, it categorizes the different content of the course in different way. Like for under assessment, you could find your assignment, you could find the quizzes, you could find discussions. That's another way of accessing the assignment folders. So if you go here, you have list of all the assignments for the course. Okay, all the assignments for the course. I have, for example, the confirmation order. Now 9 submissions, and this is what it says. I have to click on edit assignments in order to see the instructions, because I'm not on the student view at this point. So here's what you would see as the when you click on the submission. This is for Vital. This instruction is for if you were purchasing from Vital Source, and if you did purchase from Vital Source, that's what you use. And if you buy this is order from Vital Source. This would be from Vital Source. From bookstore. From bookstore, you may print email confirmation. PDF and submit. Okay, print. Oh, okay, you guys helped me to actually correct the instructions here. Yes, you can send the screenshots as well. Perfect. So these are the assignments, all the assignments that you have for entire semester. They are not available, all of them are not available to you. They will be available on weekly basis. For example, your experiment 2 data sheet, it should become available after you submit the pre-lab for experiment 1. So it's going to be available from January 19 to February 2nd. And this sign here, it means that there is a release condition. You will only see this assignment when it's open and when you satisfy the release condition. The release condition for this is submission to this confirmation order folder. So you have like 4 assignments. The reason I'm saying I know 100% that everyone is going to purchase the ebook. I just want to make sure that you don't forget to submit it. It's not the fact, the matter of buying. It's just the making sure that you submit. Quizzes and tests. These are just limited. You have the safety, lab safety quiz, the honor lock. Start from tutorial just to make sure that your computer is ready to take the quiz in the honor lock. And then you have your final exam and also the syllabus quiz. Discussions. You have a student cafe. This is like general questions or concerns that you have, or if you want to share anything with the class. Discussion 1 is for introduction, and discussion 2 is going to be hypothesis and law. These are the scientific methods. Okay, I don't want to overwhelm you with extra information. But I would like to answer any questions you might have at this point. Do you have any questions for me? No questions? Okay. If there is no question, I'm going to stop recording at this point, and I would start calling for attendance. When I call for attendance, you just use your, you can